Hello everyone, my name is Sushma Singh. I'm author, transformation life coach, and founder of Dream Design Your Life, the best place for your personal and professional growth. And today is episode 6 of Breaking Out of Your Shell. And thank you so much for all the love and support that you people has been giving to this channel. It really means a lot. It really encourages me to bring even better learning on this platform. So keep doing that. I love you all. Thank you so much. And for people who are new here, so this channel is all about inspiring stories that are happening around us. Because being a coach, I know that it's the stories that resonate with our human mind most. Even to my clients, if I have to tell certain concept and I want them to remember it for a long time, I tell stories or metaphors around them because human mind, it has very high retention capacity for stories. So see, every day we are bombarded with a lot of information. Everybody is trying to either tell something or sell something. So it's for us to consciously choose what we want to be part of our life. So these stories, they really inspire us and motivate us to do something big in our life, to play something big, because when we see people around us doing something really great and beautiful with their life, it really empowers us to even become our better version. So here we are today, and without further ado, let's dive into the session. So how many of you know who Helen Keller was? So Helen Keller, she was, activist, author, and a lecturer, and she was blind and deaf from her childhood, because when she was 19 months old, she got certain illness, and because of that, she lost her ability of sight and hearing. And for 7 years, she had been able to express herself only with the help of sign languages. But when she was 7, there was a teacher called Annie Schuler. She was somebody who actually taught her how to read, write, and express herself. And Helen Keller, whatever she was able to do in this world, and she did massive things, massive things. She contributed to society in a massive way. And whatever she was able to do was because of, it has a lot to do with Annie Schuler. And the reason why I'm talking about her today is because the guest that I have with me today is somebody who is that any schooler to so many people, with special needs. And it gives me immense pleasure and privilege to bring her here on this platform. So thank you so much. Welcome, Grace. Thank you so much for being part of this and accepting my
It's
invitation.
a pleasure for me also. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I've been watching all your series and I myself am inspired to meet so many wonderful people. So it's a pleasure for me to be here.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. So for people, I would really very quickly read her bio because she does a lot of things. So I've just summarized it. So she is somebody who has been working for 17 years in professional um, teaching persons with disabilities and in counseling parents and people. She is founder and director of the NGO I Care Rehab Center since October 2009. She is also working with Cambridge International School as head of Department of Counseling and Special Needs. And she is also working as a special educator in Vajra Ava Asha Rehabilitation Center, Jalandhar. She has worked and volunteered in City Harvest Community Services Association, Singapore. She has worked as a special educator in Prayas Special School, Jalandhar, which is run by Red Cross School. And there are so many Red Cross. There are so many things that she is doing that if I'll keep on reading, then it is going to take a lot of time. So let's all hear from herself. So, Grace, just to begin with, just tell us about your childhood and your education too.
Thank you, Sushma. It's not much that the way you put it up, I'm honored. My childhood has been a very simple one. My dad was in the army, but that gave us the honor and privilege to travel throughout India and meet people of different culture, different religion, different traditions, and it made us truly Indian. So I studied in Kendra Vidyalayas in different states, learned different languages, met different people. So that's how my childhood had been. I got my education from Kendra Vidyalayas. Later,
Okay.
Later, I went on to study in St. Joseph's College of Visakhapatnam. I did my B.Ed from SNDT Mumbai, and here I am.
Wow, amazing. So, Grace, just take us through the moment. Like, why did you thought that you want to work for these special need people?
Actually, since my childhood, I wanted to be a doctor. It was my dream to be a doctor and to serve the community. I believe a lot in calling. And when I was in that stage, in the teenage stage, and I was like, God, what is my calling? And a lot of things happened. To cut it short, I came across this article in the newspaper that said India needs special educators. And somehow I was pulled off to that. It was a sign from the heavenly realm that this is what is meant for you. My condition was I'm applying in this one very typical unique course. If it is you, God, then I have to get selected there. And by God's grace, I got through the college, and I realized while working with them that this is what I was created for. So it was more about me being happy and satisfied. And that's how I got into the field of special education.
Wow, that's wonderful. And I'm very sure, Grace, that there must be something in you that really, connects with you, you with those people. What do you think? What is that something that really connects?
Uh, Probably, if I look back right from my childhood, I've always loved to be with people with disabilities because I didn't see them as different.
Mhm.
I just felt that they are like us. It might be just one thing that they are missing, but then I also had low eyesight and I used to wear glasses. So if a person is wearing hearing aid just because he cannot hear, I shouldn't push away that person. So I remember my best friends used to be either someone who could not hear, or in schools, I had friends who could not walk. I loved being around them. And probably they liked being around me also because it was mutual, because we
Yes.
loved and respected each other as persons, seeing beyond the disability. So that's one thing that has really helped me connect with them, and respecting them as a person, valuing their role either as a student, a friend, a colleague. That is what matters the most.
Yeah, like it's wonderful. So, Grace, how does your rehab center work?
Okay, the name of my rehab center is I Care Rehabilitation Center. When I came to this city, I realized, as you shared, I worked first for Red Cross, then I worked for the Army Run Asha School. I realized that after a certain age, children are not allowed to go to school. When they're 14 years old, 15 years old, parents are told, "Ab agle saal se hum aapka bachcha nahi rakhenge because he's big." And then where do children with special needs go? Even if they're 19, they're 20, there are 30 years old person who will behave like a kid, but they need a place to go. So that's how I started it out as a tuition center in a small shop. I first started from home, then we moved to a shop. And by God's grace, today we have our own 3-storied building. So that's how it is working slowly and steadily.
Wow, that's wonderful, Grace. So, can you take us through how their mindset is different from we people?
uh, every person's mindset is different. To be honest, no two people are same. Like our
Yes.
thumbprints, they're all very different. It's just that our perspective is sometimes that, oh, they cannot do this, or oh, they cannot do that. But for them, it is, I may need help, but I think I can. So
Mhm.
it's just about how we see them. Either we can see them as us and them, or we can see all of them as us.
Us,
So
yes.
when we see them as us, like
Mhm.
we are one group, we have to stand up for each other. We have to help each other. That
Mhm.
is what is called as inclusion.
Mhm.
And I guess that is what is the whole purpose of my life. I feel that is what I'm called to bring inclusion in school, society, everywhere that we can.
Definitely. And even I believe that, these people, they have the reason why I asked you a question about their mindset is because I believe that they must be having, something that is unique about them, like some quality, some strength, because I believe that God is somebody who gives them something unique to everyone. I believe that these people, I call them, God's favorite children. They are God's favorite children. So they must be having something. What do you think? Because since you have worked with them since a long, long time, so what do you think? Like, what is that?
They do have something.
Yes.
As you said, they do have something different. If one sense is not working, or in something they are limited, then they do develop a certain strength. I'll give you an example. I used to go to this school for visually challenged girls, and I used to go to teach them music and all. And one day, one girl just touched my dupatta and she said, "It's dirty over here." I was like, "How can you tell it's dirty?" And she told, "I can tell it by the touch." I don't think you and I can just tell by touch that it's dirty. But yes, their senses are so strong. So if something is limited, something else has taken over. There are children with autism who are very gifted. I remember I was doing some work at school and I was writing the entry. And I was like, I just happened to ask my colleague across the room, 24th June kya tha? And I got this answer, which day it was, Monday, Tuesday, or whatever it was. I asked for another day, I got a quick reply. After the third reply, I realized it's not my colleague who's telling me, but it is the child who's telling me. I expected my colleague to open the phone, open the calendar, and tell me which day it is. If I'm saying so-and-so date, was it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday? But this child knew it. And we happened to discover that the child has a gift. He can tell you for the past 20, 30 years or for future, you just tell him any date, he can tell you, will it be Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday? So they have different abilities, they have different strengths, they have different giftings, but it's just that sometimes they need some help for some things that they might miss out on.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think?
So the most important thing is to see beyond what they cannot do and see what they can do.
Yes, definitely. So, like, what do you think? What do they expect from people around them? What do you think is their expectations from the environment they are living in, from the people?
I guess if I have to speak up for them, the first thing that they would say is, please look at me the way I am. I'm a person first. Like many times we very casually say, I'm not blaming anyone, even I used to do that, disabled child. But it's child first, disability later. The person with disability is a better option, we can say. Child with special needs is a better thing, we can say, because they are the person first. And another very, very important thing I feel is their role. They are a student, it might be a brother, a sister, a colleague, a friend. We have to give value to that role which they have. They have to have valued roles. A social role, it has to have value to it. Once we start respecting them and valuing them, we are doing the best we can. That's I think what they need the most, rather than us always giving a helping hand or challenging them. Can you do it? I don't think you can do it, so I did it for you. It would be better always asking for their choice, treating them as person first. So I think that is one of the most important things that they would expect from us as a person.
Yes, so because for we people, this information is something that we would not have understood unless we would have we have heard from you, because you're working with them so closely. So I wanted to hear this from you, so that all of us, when we encounter these people, we see them as a person, as something, a being, not as somebody who just need our sympathy, and somebody who needs our just sympathy. I would say they need empathy. They need a little bit of support. Yeah.
Yes. I'll give you an example. I walked into a center back in my training days, and I saw this girl who was practicing walking on the parallel paths, and her whole body was shaking, her head was shaking, and you could make out every step was with so much of effort. So the teacher was standing nearby and asked her, "What's her name?" And the teacher just looked at me and said, "Ask her." So I asked her, "What's your name?" She said, "Jyoti." With that shaking thing, everything, she managed to say Jyoti. And I realized how wrong I am. And many times that's how we do. We don't ask them. It can be at a restaurant, what would you like to drink? We just assume things that, oh, I just need to be always helping them. But they want that we see them as a person. Even the little things, give them their space, let them struggle. You be there for them, but always respect them as a person.
Yes, definitely. So Grace, like working with these people, how it has changed you as a person? Because I'm very, very sure that this is something even we don't get to, to evolve as a person. We have certain environment, but you have such an environment where you are so close to I would say God, love, and grace. You're very close to them. So I would like to hear from you how it has helped you evolve as a person.
I think no one would know much.
Yes, yes,
I don't think anybody else could know it better because you and I have been classmates right from our back
yes,
school days. And
yes.
you know how I was. I used to be a notorious kid, and I have really changed. I have learned to be humble. I've learned to be respectful. I have learned to be kind. I have learned that patience is more fruitful.
Mhm.
Working with them is not something I'm doing a charity for them, but to be honest, working with them has given me a purpose in my life. It has brought my calling out. People may respect me for what I'm doing, but I respect what I'm doing because it's they that have helped me evolve out of that selfish person into being probably opening up and being a little more selfless, a little more helping. It's they who have taught me a lot. So that they are the ones who have actually changed me. And I have learned patience from them. I have learned that you can do the same thing again and again until unless you really don't get it. That never give up attitude, I have learned it from them. So yes, I have learned it's every day is a learning from them.
Yeah, and that's surely wonderful. Your daughter, she's very young, I guess, and I can see that she is involved with all of your work. So how you connect her to these people, like how she's learning from them.
To be honest, I really never worked upon making me connect her to them because
Uh-huh.
I just, as I told you, it's just all of us together. So when she's in a room, she
Mhm.
sees, okay, mama doesn't help them much.
Mhm.
Mama allows them to pick their things or do whatever they can. So she's also there. She's ready in case they need help, but she gives them their own space and respect. And she's learned things by seeing more of role modeling. She's seen how they teach me or how they teach, oh man, we can do this like this, and how I respect their choice. So when it's her turn, she tries to do the same. Because eventually, if I say this is my vision, I care is a vision that I want to help people with disabilities, especially the ones who are orphaned, because sometimes they live a really good age and they don't have parents or siblings to take. We are
Yes.
also working on opening a hostel.
Uh-huh.
So if
Wow.
our hostel opens and works out,
Mhm.
I may not be there to do it. She's the one who has to carry on the work. So we are allowing her to learn in the process.
That's great. Like from very young stage, she is actually learning human virtues and values and everything. And really, when I think about her, I feel like for her this is something like it's a gift from such an early stage. She's able to understand all these things, connect to these peoples, and really understand humanity to deepest level from such a young age. So I know how where she is going to go in future. I am very sure that she has very amazing future, and she is going to contribute massively to the
Thank
society. I
you.
know that for sure. I can see that. And moving on. So if you like, I ask this question to almost all my guests. If you get a chance to relive your life, what do you think, how would you like it to be? Yeah.
If I get a chance to relive my life, I would like to remember everything that I've learned now, so
Okay.
that the learning process would be much more faster in the
Continue.
coming time.
Okay.
In fact, it's like learning. I've learned a lot from the past year's experience,
Mhm.
and I think if I would get another chance, I would still like to be the special educator and have this opportunity to serve.
Wow, great. And say if you also get a chance to tell something to 6-year-old Grace, what would that be? If you have to suggest something to her or tell something, not suggest, just tell something to her, 6-year-old you, what would that be?
Oh, that would be a very important thing that I would like to share. It would be you have just one life, make it
Yes.
count.
Yeah.
Every single day that you live, just
Mhm.
live it to the fullest. Everything that you do, do it to your best because you have only one life, you're not getting it again. Make it worthwhile. If you permit me, I would like to share something that actually got a
Definitely.
turning point in my
Definitely.
life.
Yes, yes.
I heard this small story
Mhm.
and it impacted me a lot. There was this boy, many of you must have heard it, but if you permit, I would like to share it again.
Sure.
There was a boy, he was on the beach and he was picking up something and throwing it in the sea, picking up something and throwing it in the sea. So a man sees him and he walks up to him. He says, "What are you doing?" Then he sees, oh, he's picking up starfish from the beach and throwing them back into the sea. These starfish have drifted with the high tide and they've come on the beach and they're not able to go back. So he tells the boy, "Are you foolish? Are you stupid? Look at the beach. It's so long, kilometers long. You cannot save all the starfish. Why are you struggling over here?" And the boy bent down. He picked up a starfish and he said, "See, I made a difference to this one." And he threw it back into the sea. So even the little thing you're doing, it makes a difference for someone.
Yes.
So never give up. You have one life, Grace. Make it count.
Yes.
That's what I would like to tell her.
Yeah, definitely. See, I have asked this question to so many people, and mostly, like most of them have answered the same, that, live your life. You have just one, and try to make it, like, don't think about other people's judgment. That's a, advice that I think most of us want to give our six out, because we don't take, somehow we didn't do those enough risks. We always thought about people around us and allowed them to decide for us. So for all of us, like, who all are listening here, this is something that, we should not listen to everybody's advice, or if you just listen, and then do what you think is good for you, what you think is required to be done for your own development. Because at the end of your life, you will not regret the chances, you'll not regret about the failures, but the chances that you didn't, to make, what could have happened in your life. So this is something really, really, like, huge lessons of life. So finally, Grace, what do you think? What advice would you like to give to our listeners? It was a wonderful, wonderful conversation, and I'm sure all of you really loved it and got inspired by her stories. Yeah, so I was asking, what is the final advice that you would like to give to our listeners?
If you ask me one advice, it would be same thing, that you have one life. You are not just born to be born and spend, grow up, earn something, have a family, and then die. That's not just the purpose of your life. There is a purpose. You are created with a purpose. It's best if you find your purpose. It's not like, for me, it was working with people with disabilities. And there are a few more things, and I'm still working on them. It's a process.
Yes.
For someone, it can be helping stray animals. For someone, it can be working with plants and nature. For someone, it can be helping with poor people. For someone, it can be helping with jail people in the jail inmates. For someone, it can be helping with prostitutes. It can be anything, whatever it might be. If you feel it in your heart, if you feel that pain, like their pain is your pain. If you can connect to it, go for it, do it. Because later you will not regret it then. So go for what you feel you want to. Don't just live and waste your life, but make a mark. You just have one life. Live it for somebody, live it for a cause, live it for a purpose. So that when you finally stand before your maker, you can say, yes, I've lived well. That's what is most important. And never, ever give up. You may have to do it 1,000 times. Do it. People may laugh today, but when they see you there at the success point, nothing else will matter. So keep on keeping on. Don't just give up. Keep on keeping on. Keep working on yourself.
Yes, that's a wonderful, wonderful advice, Grace. And for even Steve Jobs, he says that we have been taught, like, conditioned since our childhood, that we should work in our boundaries. Like, there are certain rules that has been created by society, and we must do things confined to that. But the people who actually created that boundaries are the same people who were just like us, with their own thinking. They created that. But as a human being, we must know that if we have to evolve, we have to break those boundaries. We have to do something that really makes our life big, because we all are capable of so much more than what we are doing right now. And also, Grace, you said that you must, it's everybody's duty, I believe, that to find out the purpose in your life, because we all has been gifted with something unique. Everybody on this planet is gifted with something unique, and it's your duty, it's your responsibility to find out what that gift is and then share it with this world. So let us all get empowered and then try to find what our passion is and then use it to make the purpose of our life and to contribute to the society in a passive way. So thank you so much, Grace, for being here. And I'm very sure all of us have got a lot of inspiration from your story. Thank you.
Thank